Hey, welcome to day 3. Again, we'll use the pinky ball or tennis ball or balled up socks as a spacer, and then also your TheraBand for just a little bit, the mini loop band, if you have one of those. And let's just start checking in with the feet again today. So with your feet firmly planted on the floor, and again, you could do this seated in a chair too, will make it a little bit easier. Can you lift your toes, spread your toes, and set them down? And then try just lifting your big toe 3 times. Again, it's going to be harder standing. And then set your big toe down and lift just your little toes 3 times. Oh, there we go. And then lifting all 10 toes and setting just your big toe down 3 times. And just your little toes 3 times. Maybe like piano keys as you arch through the little toes. Good. Okay. And then from here, let's rock to the outer edges of the feet and the inner edges of the feet and just warm up the ankles. And you could have one hand on the wall. We'll rock to the outer edges of the feet, come up onto the pinky toes, rock to the big toes, and come down. So we did these yesterday. They're familiar, coming up through the big toes, rocking to the pinky toes, and down. And just doing that one more time in each direction. Good. And coming back down. And then feet close together, keep your hips even and just bend your knees to the left and bend your knees and to the right. And just go side to side a few times. So we'll do some familiar movements and some new today. And just starting to get the hang of these different movement patterns. And then let's trace out that figure 8 now. So bending and coming through center and then straightening. And doing that 2 more rounds, so 1 in each direction here. I'm going to go 1 more time each way. Good. Okay, step the feet out into a wide squat or goddess position. And then feel some stability through the torso, and the feet are turned out as you bend your knees aim out over the toes. So, roughly up and down through the spine. You might tip a little bit forward as needed. And then hands to heart center, you can draw your wrist down to feel a little wrist stretch, a little pressure of the pads of the fingertips, standing tall through your spine. And then just see, can you lift your right heel up and set it down? And do that 4 more times, slow motion. Toes are long. And keeping weight towards the ball of the big toe. Notice if you're collapsing to the pinky toe. And then switching sides, lifting up the left heel and set it down. And going just a couple more. About 5 on each side is a good goal. And you can be as low or as high with your hips as you need. What do we have? 1 more? And then we'll plant the heels, stand up, and turn the feet parallel, and then walk the feet together. Okay, let's do the mini loop. And be careful with your balance here. We're going to step in the loop and then twist it once so that it makes an X between your feet, and then step in the other side. And then from here, you step your feet comfortably wide so you feel a little bit of pressure on your mini loop band. And then soft knees, pick up your toes, spread them out, and set them down long. So your toes are long, the ball of your foot broad. And then you're just going to keep the big toe down and try to push out on the mini loop band. It's a pretty small move, but it's engaging the arches, really supports the strength of the sole of your foot. Okay, so big toes down, toes are long, and then I'm just pushing out on the mini loop band a couple more times. Subtle, small movement, but I'm feeling it. Okay, 1 more. Good. And then we'll just step the feet all the way together and safely slide that loop off. And then maybe a hand on the wall for this one. Just like yesterday, we'll take the pinky ball between the heels, so below the ankle bone, maybe a little bit back behind it. And then 1 hand on the wall, your feet parallel to each other. Pick up the toes, spread them out, and set them back down. And then keep squeezing the ball as you lift up, big toe heavy, and then set the heels down and even rock back a little bit and lift the toes. And go a few times slow so you're in control. And as you come forward, really planting down through the big toe and coming up. So this is practicing that propulsion, being able to push off when we're walking. As you go for a walk later today, even just around your house, you could think about pushing off the big toe and that kind of gliding walk, propelling yourself forward. And let's do one more. Good. Okay, and then we'll release that and just set your ball off to the side. And then coming to the top of your mat, we'll step back to downward dog. So just take a moment to stand in Tadasana and lengthen your toes along the mat. Feel your feet firm on the earth. And then we'll take the arms up overhead. Take a breath. And then on your exhale, soften your knees to take your hands down to your forward fold, your Uttanasana. And you can take a breath or two here. And then we're coming to downward dog. So really spreading out your fingertips, bend your knees a lot. So you can plant your hands, rooting all the way down into the pads of your fingertips. And then stepping up and back. And then from here, we'll bend the left knee. And keep your inner right knee soft, but reach the right heel down. Go for the calf stretch. And imagine you're trying to lift your right toes up off the mat, engaging the front of your ankle. So big active calf stretch. And then going in the opposite side, you bend the right knee and try to lift the left toes up off the mat. Go for the calf stretch. Good. One more breath. And then we'll come to a sense of symmetry, both balls of the feet. So you're spreading your toes out wide and long. Reach your hips up and away. And then we'll come down and just sit comfortably for you. So you could rest for a couple breaths in child's pose or just sit in Virasana or switch to cross-legged and just take a couple of breaths in and out. Good. Okay, let's come back to downward dog once again. So spreading out your palm, planting the fingertips firm, engaging the arches of your palm even, and then rocking your shoulders forward to tuck your toes and reach up and back. And grow long through your spine, up through your hips. And then we'll come back to Uttanasana. So you can walk your hands and feet together, soft knees. And then take your time to come all the way up to stand, sweeping the arms up and overhead. And then take your hands down in front of your heart and take another inhale. And then exhale and relax your hands by your sides. Take a full round of breath here, upright in Tadasana. Good. Okay, let's play with tree pose, Vrikshasana. So from here, you could have one hand on the wall. We'll lift the left leg, so maybe right hand on the wall. And we're going to do kind of a slow motion entry, okay? So don't be in a rush here. We're going to shift into the right foot. Feel your right toes spread and long on the mat, and then lift your left knee as high as you can. And go for height through the crown of your head, tall through the spine. Take your left knee out to the left. And then from here, guide your left foot towards your inner right thigh. So you're coming into your Vrikshasana. And you could keep your hand on the wall as long as you'd like. And engage your inner right leg. Reach down into the floor with your right foot. And that gives us some kind of structure, substance to stand on. And then from there, you can grow tall, firming at your outer left hip, to find the stability, the strength at the external rotation of your left leg. And the hands could stay in front of your heart, or you could reach them up and overhead. How's your breathing? Softening at the inner shoulders. Good. One more breath. And then hands coming together and down in front of your breastbone. And then taking your knee forward and down, and just standing for a moment in Tadasana. So nice to pause between sides in the asymmetrical pose, just to notice, to be aware. And then if you like a hand on the wall, take your left hand to the wall and shift into your strong left leg, really root down into the earth, grow tall, and lift your right knee first as high as you can. And then guiding it open to the right, strong, stable body, and then slow motion, so not rushing the process, coming and taking your right foot to tree pose. Calf is another great hooking point. And then find the strength of your inner left leg, standing down through the left big toe, and from there grow tall through the crown of your head. So we've got, good point of contact, big toe, pinky toe, and the heel reaching into the earth. And then from there you can extend and grow tall. You option to reach your arms up overhead. And then check in with your breathing. Right away as I check in with my breathing, I feel myself leaning forward into the front body. So seeing if you can balance your front and back body and grow tall from there. Good. And then hands together and down. And your knee comes forward and down. Okay, we'll come one more time into downward dog and then rest either seated or child's pose as our finishing pose for this practice today. So just as you're ready, you can sweep your arms up overhead. And on your exhale, Uttanasana, your forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to and walk back into your downward dog. And just take a moment to reach up through your hips again, spread your toes out wide and long on your mat. And then come and rest down and make yourself comfortable. So you can pad your knees. You can come forward into child's pose, keeping your arms reaching forward or taking them back by your hips. Or switch to an upright position and be comfortable in your seat. And if you're comfortable, let your eyes close and just take a couple rounds of breath to be here now. Be present in your body. Noticing your in-breath as it just effortlessly floats into your out-breath. Okay, and then making your way to a seat if you haven't already. And thank you so much for practicing with me here today. Namaste.